into the freelance bookkeeping. I was really all into it, and I've done all these things. I got an LLC. Something happens in life and you never saw that happening. You never thought it would happen, and you're like, "What are you talking about? Like, this is how I identify myself. I don't know who I am. I'm not really a sour person. I like sweet, but I'm not really sour. I love lemon-heads. That's probably about as sour as.
All right, so hey everyone, welcome to today's episode of Social Commerce Give It Up. We have Necole Williams with us, and she's a very, very interesting lady. She helps people find empowerment and ease through arts, and she does other cool things like VA services. But what is super interesting about her is that she pivoted from a very structured and very formal career in the corporate world involving finance and accounting, that type of stuff. So anyway, she clearly has two sides, which is super cool. So we're going to start with our 14 questions. So welcome, Necole. Thank you for being a guest on Social Commerce Give It Up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Nancy.
And I always like talking to you. Okay, so are you ready for question one?
I am ready. Question one. I feel like I'm on a game show. All right, let's do this.
Kind of are. There's no big prizes. Don't get too excited.
The prize is I did it. I did
it. Right. Okay, so what are you doing in your profession, business, and why?
I am helping women to find more ease in their lives, which seems like an odd thing for me to be saying, but I'm helping women to find more ease in their life. And it seems odd for me to be saying because I did come from such a structured environment and I had a very rigid schedule of how I did things. And so to now shift from that to creating art, which is another thing that I've really leaned very heavily into. I've always been very crafty, but so leaning very heavily into art and just being more creative and seeing how that helps to kind of flourish my life. And now I'm sharing that with other women to help them to flourish and find ease in their own lives.
I think that's amazing. And so how does that work? Like, what kind of art do you do, and how does it happen to more ease? And can you just kind of like go a little deeper on that?
Yeah, absolutely. It really just depends. I'm really open to kind of various projects. I'm a knitter. I create mosaics. I do pour paintings. That's been my latest thing. I'm going to start doing some macrame, which is like knot tying, and it sort of brings in crafting and knitting kind of together. So, so basically, people find whatever they're passionate about, and then I look into it and find out, okay, what do we need to make this happen? And we sort of go on an adventure creating something that they love and that they're excited and passionate about. And while doing that, you find yourself in a space. You can get kind of into a meditative flow state, just while creating art. It doesn't really matter what it is. It could be gardening, it could be painting, it could be board games, whatever kind of gets you into that flow where you sort of lose track of time. There are just so many great benefits to our overall well-being when we get into that state. It relieves stress, relieves chronic pain. It will help to push, kind of your worries aside so that you can really focus your attention on what you're doing. And so, I just kind of go through the steps of, creating. And I don't know, what I hear is that there's something about kind of the way that I go about it, or something about in my voice that really brings kind of a calmness and a relaxing to people as we're doing art. So
I would agree with that. We've known each other a little while. We haven't kept in touch consistently, but sometimes they pop into your lives. You see a little bit about what you're doing, and It's not exactly a mom energy. It's more like a calming sort of like everything's okay. We've got this energy about you. So I
Yeah,
totally appreciate
exactly. Yeah.
that. And so what made you pivot? Like, have you always had both sides strongly, or was there a time where you only focused on the corporate stuff, or how did that come to be?
Um, yeah, I really came to a point where I had a mental breakdown in my life. I've always suffered from depression, and it really just came to a head, and this got to a really low point for me where I don't know, how life is. Sometimes things happen and it just makes you like, you know what, I need to do something different here. What I'm doing isn't working for me anymore. And that came in the form of me being fired from a job that I had been at for almost 11 years.
Oh,
So, and I've
wow.
always been very passionate and very hardworking. So for to be let go and for them to have, said it was my job performance, to me, it said, look how poorly in my health that I'm doing, that it is affecting all of these things because, up until then I'd been, a rock star and, at work. And so,
Mhm, mhm.
um, that really it just made me really start taking a look at myself and what I really wanted for my life. And I just started having like one thought that was just like, I don't want to live my next 20 years like I did my last 20 years. I worked every day.
Wow.
I worked, like 8 to 5. I came home, I did kids, homework, dogs. On
Mhm,
the weekends, I did house cleaning. I, worked on those things I couldn't get done during the week. And
mhm,
it really just got to a point where it's like, this is it. This is what, I'm living my life for. And so,
mhm.
um, at first I really pivoted, and a lot of times when we make big changes, we still go with something in our comfort zone. So I had transitioned from working in accounting to doing freelance bookkeeping. But I found
Ah,
that that was me sort of putting the old me into this new space. And I really just didn't have the passion for it. I love helping people. I love making things
mhm,
balance. But I just didn't have the passion for it. I didn't have the will for it to
mhm.
really put myself out there to help other women. And so, yeah, I just started, things just sort of occur to me at times, and I just sort of thinking, and I recognize that during all the hard periods of my life I turned to some sort of art. That's how I learned all these different things, and knitting
Wow.
and
Yeah.
mosaics and scrapbooking during like divorce, during depression recovery, and through all those things I turned to art and found that I really found solace in that, and really had found kind of a peace and a way to express myself that wasn't verbal. I'm an introvert and I don't always communicate as clearly as I don't always communicate my feelings as clearly as, and so it was nice to have that, a different outlet for that. And
Yes.
then when I started looking into the benefits of art, that really just kind of solidified it for me. There's so much, um, just even scientific backed research on how wonderful art is and creating is, for your mental well-being, your overall well-being, your
Mhm.
physical health. It lowers blood pressure. It's crazy. When I started looking into it, I thought, am I getting all of this? I had no idea, but that's the whole thing. It's like the best side effect ever. It's like you don't even know you're getting it while you're
Absolutely.
doing the art, but there's this wonderful
Exactly.
side effect
Uh,
of
that,
ease. That's what I
that,
call it, ease.
that's so amazing. And I think if anything, really, that's the word that sums up what everyone's looking for, right? They want excitement, but they also want ease, that sense of peace
Exactly.
and fulfillment. And so that's so interesting to me. I'm not so much into the art part. I would
Right.
say probably more into the words and writing or things like that. Photography
Yes.
a little bit.
Exactly.
But my daughter, she's 12 and a half, and
Mhm.
she has had some anxiety this year. It's hard to keep track.
Right. They're very particular. They're like, get that half in there.
I know, like the 0.75, man.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, she has partly COVID, partly age, partly social stuff. She's had some anxiety this year. And
Yeah.
what she has really embraced this year is beading and making like her own
Oh,
jewelry and so
yes.
that. And so I get what you're saying totally. So I think
Yeah.
that's like so
Yeah.
powerful and so needed. So
it really is. It really is. And we're all creative. We all, at times we think that we're not, but or that only certain people are creative, and we all actually have a need as a human being to express ourselves creatively. It doesn't have to be, I can't draw. I can't. I need people. But there's just a variety of things that you can do to kind of activate that creativity and find that peace inside.
I think that's so important. So thank you for sharing that. So
Yeah.
I have, I'm a member of your group and I do follow your pour paint stuff and it's so
Oh
beautiful.
yes. Oh, thank
So,
you.
I guess my question is for people who want to learn about that or purchase something or things like that, how can we connect with you to do that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yes, I am on Facebook, and I do have a Facebook group, Live Better with Art, where I do live art every week, and talk about the benefits of art, and kind of share all those things, and then share along with my journey and what I've been learning, and the things that I have overcome using art and creativity. And then I have an Art Pal gallery.
Oh, cool.
Where I do sell my finished, I sell my finished art. So if you want, I can send the link, or we can attach the link down below if you'd like to do that. So
yes.
I
So
don't know the whole
at
thing
the
off
end of
the
this,
top
we'll
of my
add
head,
all your contact info, but your art is absolutely stunning. There's a couple pieces that
Aw.
I'm interested in looking at, and I just think you've got a lot to teach and a lot to share. So I think that there's more people who are
Thank
going
you.
to want to connect with you and definitely benefit from learning from you. So thank you for that.
Aw, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, well, that was question one.
Oh my gosh, right?
We only got 13.
We should
13
have
more,
started
but
this with, I'm a bit long-winded.
absolutely. I think question one is the most important and we wanted to hear everything. So um, some of the other questions are like a little less involved. So
Gotcha.
but question one, wanted to hear all about you. So that's so super cool. I love it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
All right. So question two is the opposite, and what you never want to do as a business, profession, career, and why?
Probably some sort of sales, or like marketing sales, or things like that. I am not that, and probably hard collections, though they sort of go hand in hand. I'm not really good at
Yes.
talking people into things. If I call someone and they say they don't have money, I'm like, okay, I understand how that is. They want you to push further, and that's just not it's not really my nature. And yeah, kind of similar for sales. I don't really want to push someone into something if I want to believe in it, in order to and I'm more of, let's work together, rather than like, here, buy this for me, you want this. I'm kind of all about sort of collaboration. I like when we both can sort of get something out of it. So
It's definitely a fine line between letting people know what's available and pressure. So
right.
but definitely keep putting yourself out there, because I think when more people see it, they're going to be like, I like that, I want that. So
Yeah.
absolutely, I get that.
Yeah.
But yes, absolutely, sales is tricky, and definitely things like collections, holy moly, you can't imagine. Okay, so do you like going to libraries, bookstores, being around real books?
Yes, I do. I love real books. I do have books, like ebooks and things like that as well, that are easy to take along with me. But yeah, I like real books. I like the smell of pages. We're readers in our family. My kids are big readers. My daughter, they love the library. My daughter will burn through 8 books in a week. Like, she just
Wow, that's amazing.
yeah. So yeah, no, love my local libraries. I've gotten to, since I'm not in one permanent place this year, I've gotten to visit kind of some different ones. Well, since things have opened back up again, closed for COVID, but been able to visit some different ones. And I love a variety. So I love to go there and find knitting patterns. You can find videos, you can find music, you can find books and magazines, and graphic novels I even have there too. So yeah. Yes.
Something about being able to hold it in your hands, and like you said, the smell of walking into like this like sea of books.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I'm
Mhm.
often just smelling the pages of like a new book. I love that.
I get that. It's like fresh laundry.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. Okay, so what is the most daring thing that you have done?
Oh gosh. What is the most daring thing that I've done? Just in life or in um I think that the most daring thing that I have done is to become an entrepreneur. I think
Mm.
that it really took me on a journey of myself that I wasn't expecting. It was just like, oh, I have a problem with this. I should work on that. But I never, thought about those things before. I had never even, I go live weekly now, and I had never gone live a year ago. I had never even done a video, not even a video on Facebook. So
Mhm.
definitely, branching out on my own, and then really deciding to follow my passion has really felt daring. And so many times you just hear the standard people say, oh, you got to build an email list, and you need to work your full-time 8-hour-a-day job and try to do your passion on the side. And and it's just yeah, no one's doing that.
It's a
Not
lot
a
of
lot of,
stuff.
I should say, not a lot of people, I should say, are doing that, and are doing that successfully. And I believe that there's a path for all of us, so we don't all have to go according to the cookie cutter. I never fit into the cookie cutter,
Mhm.
path. And so yeah, I talk about that a lot. Choose your own path, choose what feels good for you. But yeah,
Mhm.
it definitely took a lot of courage to yeah, decide that I'm going to do art, and no matter what, no matter where I'm at, that's what I'm doing. And to tell my family, like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do bookkeeping. I know it can make a lot of money, but I'm not doing that anymore. You know, um,
For sure.
so
For sure.
yeah, yeah,
That's tough when people have expectations of you that you're not willing to meet anymore.
yeah, absolutely. But there's definitely a freedom in there, a freedom and a power in there in choosing that you don't see until you're on the other side of the choice. Does that make sense?
It absolutely does. I mean, 1000% it does to me. I've had my own version of that. And no matter how much you do to check the boxes for other people's expectations, there's always going to be empty ones, right? And especially your own. So
Yep,
you have to just
absolutely.
do what you need to do for you. And I know that's cliche and sounds trite or easy, but I
Right.
get the whole process. It's a
It's
lot, but it's
not
worth it.
easy. Exactly. It is not easy, but it's definitely worth it. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so what is something that you wish you had said yes to? Looking back, something you wish you had said yes to.
Oh, something that I had said yes to. Hmm. Pondering on that one. The first thing that comes to mind, which sounds very, but I was a teenager, and there was a family that I had worked for, and they were moving to another state, and they had a car that they were kind of just giving away. And that was one of those things I wish that I had just piped up, because I'm sure that they would have given it to me, but I was too shy at the time to say anything. Um,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. And I think I go back to that moment in my mind a lot, because I think those are those times to just sort of learn that it's okay to speak up. And even if they hadn't, I'm learning, it's just the putting yourself out there, it's just the asking. And
Exactly. And
yeah,
knowing you deserve it, right? Yeah.
right, exactly, exactly. Oh, that's such a big, okay, next question, that's such a big part, don't let me get
Okay, what is the next question?
on.
Okay. So what was a pivotal moment that changed many things for you?
Oh, okay. So pivotal moment that changed things for me would have been my attempted suicide on my 30th birthday. I was going through a separation, and I was just devastated. It was one of those things where something happens in life and you never saw that happening. You never thought it would happen. And you're like, what are you talking about? Like, this is how I identify myself. I don't
Mhm.
know who I am and how I'm supposed to be now. And but
Wow.
yeah, it just really all came to a point where I wasn't really sleeping. I was barely eating, and I was just barely functioning. But that sort of began my journey to find out, okay, what do I want in life? And I always had a hard time on my birthdays. Obviously, that was a really hard one. But I had always felt like they were never special enough. I needed other people to help me to make them special enough. And a nurse had really said something very powerful to me that sticks with me today, and said, why can't you make it special for yourself? And
Wow.
that really just sort of opened, even in that really low point, just sort of opened my mind to start thinking about things that I could do for myself. I was just sort of floating through life. Things were happening to me all the time, one thing after another. And yeah, that was really a pivotal moment where, and I had to kind of rely on my own inner strength. You know, it's like you have to pick yourself up. I had help and I had other things, but I had to decide that, like, okay, I want to live. I'm going to put myself together, and I'm going to find a way to create a life that I actually want to live and not run away from.
Wow.
So,
That is like so powerful. Yes.
Yeah. I know I'm getting a little misty over here. Like, but yeah, no, that definitely, like,
No, but it's really one of the, that there could not be a more pivotal moment. It's like decide yes or decide checking out.
right. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. And it just shows your strength and integrity and tenacity to move forward. So
Thank you.
I do believe that everyone goes through that stuff for a reason. I mean, I haven't been there, thank God.
Yeah.
I've been at various points in my life where I'm like, like, what is the point of all this? So I hear you.
Right. Exactly. Oh, I lost you. Sorry. I had an alarm going off. I forgot about. Sorry.
Okay. So what is something that you thought that you would love and you didn't end up liking it?
Something I thought that I would love, but I didn't end up liking it. Probably the freelance bookkeeping. I was really all into it, and I had done all these things. I got an LLC. I was going through a bookkeeping course. I was learning all these things. I had books, and the learning part of it, I love. The doing it for other people, not so much.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that was
Did
very
you actually
surprising.
launch into that at all, or did you kind of just be like, this isn't for me during the actual learning process?
Yeah, I just realized, yeah, like this, that while I do love to balance things, and I love numbers, and I love I love the balance of it. That's not what I wanted to do every day, all day. It's definitely still a little more of a rigid lifestyle. So, and yeah.
Wow, that's such an important realization. So
Yeah. And to take the after I had put it out there, I had cards made, I'd been on Facebook, I posted I'm doing this to my parents, and it's very hard to go back from that and say, yeah, I decided that's not for me. But I did, and I had my Facebook group originally was a bookkeeping group, and I don't know if you remember, but I transferred it over.
I don't, but I do remember talking to you when you were transitioning out of bookkeeping. So
right, yep. So yeah,
courageous. So I think it's so important to know your yes and your why, and
yes,
trying to do anything from there. But if you keep going back to what it isn't, then that's where you stay stuck. So clearly you're not about that.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's interesting. I know you say that, and I'm just like, I'm not. You know what? You're right. I'm
not. You're not. I've known you long enough to know that. So are you the first person on the dance floor?
No, I cannot dance, and it's the shame of a Black woman. I cannot dance.
Might be down there somewhere with the art. Do you get out on the dance floor? Do you like to dance?
I do like to go out and dance. I've not been in quite some time, but I do like to do it. I usually just say, you know what, screw it. I can't dance, and I accept that. So
exactly.
I'm out here to move my body and have a good time to the music, and
Exactly. Like there's very few people I think that can really, really dance. So it's more about the fun.
Right?
Yes, that's
I'm
cool.
gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with that. I see a lot of people that can dance, but I'm gonna go with what you said.
Okay. So if there's only one thing that you could share about yourself, what would it be?
These are good questions. If there was one thing I could share about myself, what would it be? I don't know. That's a tricky one for me to put into words. And what I think of, I'm just gonna say it, but I bring a spark to people's lives, and I don't know. I can't exactly say what where I can't put my finger on exactly what it is, but yeah, when I get to know people and friend people, and I definitely really bring something to their life. So I don't know what that is, and I'm still exploring it. But I am working to just share it with more people.
Mhm.
So I guess that's what I would say.
Well, I love that, and I absolutely agree.
Oh, thank
Definitely,
you.
you have a lot of fire, but this is my personal take on it from my
Yeah,
experience of knowing you, and it's just
yeah,
kind of you bring like fun, lighthearted, good time, understanding, acceptance. I think
totally. Yeah,
everyone can feel free to show up as they are, be empowered by your energy, is what I feel.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I know.
Mhm.
For a while I was saying, I've loved everyone before it was popular. Now we're all accepting that's politically correct to be accepting of everyone. But I didn't fit in well as a kid because of it. I didn't see,
Mhm.
race and skin color and other people's, ethnicities and religions as,
Mhm.
they wanted to be friends. I wanted to be friends. But yeah.
I love that. And
Yeah.
that's going to, I feel, take you a long way to do amazing things. So combined with
Yeah.
all of the cool stuff you're doing, you have a
Aw.
very authentic way of engaging with people. That's just ease.
Aw.
Yeah, your word is ease.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, and I would never say that about myself. I relate well with people.
You do. You
Individually,
do.
I feel like I'm great, but it's like um, stepping out there and really putting myself out there has really it's really helped with that. It's really helped me to just kind of see what it is that that I'm bringing, that people are getting, that um, to help me to see some of those things that I didn't see in myself. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
For sure it does. Absolutely. Love
Yeah.
that. Okay, so what is your favorite word and why? And your least favorite word and why?
Okay. My favorite word is probably delicious. I really like food, and people
Mm.
always comment on the way they say that was delicious. Like the way you say it, it makes me want to have some. But that's probably one of my favorite words, because if I'm saying it, then I'm really enjoying something. Usually some kind of a dessert or pastry. um,
I
my
think it
least.
applies across the board for life in general. It's like a vibe, right? Jump into the
Exactly.
vibe of deliciousness.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, I like that. I like that. um, and my least favorite word. Um, it's probably more of a phrase, but I don't like when people say everyone, when we include everyone in something, like all men do this, all women do that, all.
Mhm.
So I don't know if it's all,
Yeah.
but just those words that are just like inclusive of just one, but are really boxing people into, um,
Yes.
stereotypes. I don't know, but
Yes.
I don't
I
know
get
quite
what
how
you're
to
saying.
wrap that into one word, but
I get what you're saying. Yes. It's just like generalization. Totally.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't like it.
No, that's disempowering, definitely. Exactly.
Yep.
Okay, so do you fight fair in an argument?
Ooh, I am a pretty I don't know. I like to be right. I am a pretty fair fighter in an argument. I'm not usually one to go below the belt. And
Mhm.
I am cautious on what I say, because you can't take words back. And so I usually say a little less in an argument. People will get frustrated because I'm thinking, and I want to make sure I'm not just saying something, mean. Sometimes people can, trigger something in you, and you just want to be like, well, you're ugly anyway. And not that that would be it, but, something like that.
Exactly. I get it.
So, so I try to be thoughtful, I guess, even when I'm in arguments. I try to be thoughtful.
Yes, I think that's important, and I agree with what you said. People don't realize the power of words sometimes, or how once they're like there, they can't be called back. Like you said,
how many times have we been replaying that something someone said, and who knows if they meant it the way we thought, but you're replaying that 1,000 times, and so said my hair looks terrible, or I look great with this makeup, so I must look terrible without it. Like, those kinds of things. So
exactly. So, totally agree with you.
Yeah.
So who in history would you help or stop?
Ooh, who in history would I help or stop? Helping. That is a great question. I'm terrible with people's names, so probably not gonna name a specific person. I really admire a lot of women who really just sort of pioneered a lot of things, just for like equal rights, for even just for women. We had to fight to have rights over our children. I did not realize this. I watch a lot of documentaries and things like that, and just in things that interest me. But so yeah, you find out about these things and you think, what? Like, oh yeah, I totally wish that I was around then, which is funny because I never, probably a few years ago, would never have seen myself as that kind of person, but totally see myself as that kind of person. So definitely for basically people fighting for the underdog. That's
that is very cool.
I would, help. Yes. Yep.
Absolutely. Love that. Okay, so this question is a little less serious, I think. Sweet or sour candy, chocolate, or salty snacks?
Chocolate. Yes, definitely chocolate. Yeah. Good quality chocolate.
I'm kind of trying to chocolate and the chips, but if I had to choose, probably the chocolate always would win.
Right. Yep. And I'm not really a sour person. I like sweet, but I'm not really sour. I love lemon heads. That's probably about as sour as it gets for me. But yeah, nowadays a lot of things are like sprinkled with sour things, and I don't like those things.
I know. I've got 3 kids, and they're all about the sour. It must be.
Oh my gosh! Right?
Must be from my dad, because it's definitely not me.
Right? I like that stuff that makes your mouth pucker. I don't like that.
I know. It's like, what's the story in that?
Right.
Okay, so last question is, what fictional place do you wish you could visit?
Fictional place I wish that I could visit. Yeah, there's a couple. Okay, fictional place that I would want to visit would probably be yeah, it's probably going to be from one of my favorite shows. Things that you like to watch. You're like, yes, I would love to be there. I would probably like to visit, even though it's probably a crazy time, but Outlander. I actually read several of those books, but it is a show now, and I do love the period pieces, and I love to see how people lived. I would not want to live there, but I would love to visit there and see what that was like.
Exactly. Jumping in, teleport back out, right?
Right, exactly.
Oh, awesome. I love that. Well, you made it through all the 14 questions with some really cool, interesting answers. So thank you so much for being a guest tonight. And
Thank you so much for having me, Nancy.
And so we'll put your contact stuff up, and I hope you'll continue putting your art stuff out. And I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people who like to hop onto your classes or purchase some art or cool things like that. So
absolutely, yep. And I need to put it out there more.
Tons more.
Put your face out there. Like like it's sort of that fine line of selling, isn't it? It's like you are selling, but you're selling yourself, something that's real and authentic. And that's how I've been trying to think about it. So definitely ready to start spanning the world with all of my loveliness.
Well, I will totally support you in that and looking forward to it. So, all right, Necole. So thank you so much for tonight, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All righty.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.